and welcome back to Vlog Talk. Today we are going to be going over the list of things that you should have before bringing a new bird home. There are a lot of different things you need for a parrot, and there are a lot of things you will find in a store that are actually not safe for them. So we're just going to go over some of the very bare minimum basic things that you should have for your bird. First thing you're going to be looking into is a cage. Now, what size cage you get depends completely on the species of parrot that you are getting. You will have to do some independent research to see what cage size is best suited for your size of bird. Generally speaking, you want the bird to be able to easily stretch their wings and flap from side to side to be able to get sufficient exercise when they are confined to a space. Do keep in mind that any bare minimum cage sizes you find listed online are always for only the bird being in the cage for a maximum of an hour or two at a time. If you are someone who works long hours or goes to school or isn't home for a good portion of the day, you will need a significantly larger cage for the bird to be healthy. Generally, when looking for a cage, you do not want to get anything that is round or anything that is super gimmicky and shaped like a castle. These types of cages are very inefficient with their space usage and can be quite hurtful. Round cages have caused neurological problems with parrots before, so we want to avoid them. You're not looking for anything super fancy and weird looking in bright, vibrant colors. You want something that is plain, something that is rectangular or square with flat sides and a flat top. If it has a rounded top, that is fine as well. I just personally find that even having a rounded top there does take away some of the valuable space you could be using to hang toys. So for space efficiency and cost efficiency, you will probably want something that's just big and square. The spacing of the bars is a very important detail, not only because you want nice, thick, strong bars for those larger birds that could bend smaller bars, but because if your bird can fit their head between the spaces of the bars, they can very easily get stuck and hurt themselves. Most smaller parrots, like your budgies and your conures, will do just fine with about a 1/4 inch bar spacing, but your larger birds can go up to anything from a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch up to a full inch, depending on the size of the bird. Once you have picked out your cage, you're going to want to start thinking about what you're going to put inside. Odds are your cage has come with a couple plain, slick dowel perches. These perches are not necessarily safe for parrots if they are the only thing that your bird is standing on. These extremely smooth, slick, flat perches can cause a lot of sores on the bottoms of their feet, so you want to give them a lot of variety. There are a lot of options when it comes to perches. You can get natural wood in the store, you can make your own, you can get rope perches, swings, hoops, and all sorts of fun things. The main key element here is that you want variety. You want things of different thicknesses that are sitting at different angles that are made of different textures. The more variety in your perches you can find, the healthier your bird's feet will be. Moving on in the cage, you're going to want to look into the food dishes. Most standard cages come with plastic food dishes that just hook onto the front of the cage. These can be fine as a temporary setup. However, you may want to at least switch the water dish out to something that is stainless steel. Birds are very, very prone to illnesses, and bacteria is very, very quick to grow inside porous materials like plastic. Utilizing stainless steel dishes instead can ensure that your bird is going to be healthy and the dishes will remain clean. The last key element inside of a cage is the toys. Depending on your bird species and their individual personality, there are so many toys to choose from, whether it's shredding, to chewing, to pulling, to puzzles. There's all sorts of fun, unique things that you can provide your bird. Even the tiniest of birds like budgies and parrotlets are very profound foragers and love a good challenge when it comes to hiding food inside their toys and having to find a way to get it out. Just because your bird is small, don't discredit them and throw just some garbage toys in there because you don't think they're going to use them. Birds absolutely do play, and they will need a ton of things to play with to prevent them from getting bored. When first starting out, I would get a couple of different things from varying sizes and varying textures. You may want some things that are made of woven, crunchy materials, some softer fabric chew toys, and then some more puzzly acrylic puzzle feeders. The more variety you give your bird, the easier it's going to be for you to be able to tell what their preferences are. As you get to know them and the longer they live with you, you'll be able to fine-tune what toys they actually play with and what things they prefer. Some birds will choose complete color preferences and not like toys that are one color, but totally fall in love with the same toy in another color. So keep every little detail in mind. Birds can be very, very picky, and they do have preferences. You will want to have around 5 to 7 different toys for your bird to play on, as well as a couple extras for you to rotate out. Parrots are a very sensitive species, and if they don't have variety in rotation and they don't have a constant changing environment, they can get very, very bored and they can get very stressed out when their environment does suddenly change in the future. If you have a regular stock of toys to switch things around and move things about, they won't be as stressed out with these changes and they will be constantly enriched with an ever-changing supply of toys, even if you're just taking an old toy out and putting the exact same toy in later in the week. Now that you've got the basics of the cage set up, let's look into the food. You will need to feed your birds something and it's gotta be good. There is not a whole lot of research on parrots, so there is a lot of debate on what diet is best for them. There's a lot of independent research you will need to do to figure out what is the best dietary needs for your specific species. Birds like budgies are grass foraging birds. They love to eat seeds, they love to eat grasses, they will thrive off of those foods. Other birds, such as small conures, thrive off of having a large variety of dark leafy greens to choose from. So when it comes to picking out their diet, whether you look into pellets or seeds and how much of each vegetable to give them is completely dependent on what species you have brought home. Visit forums, talk to your vet, figure out a diet plan that is going to work best for you and your bird. The main basic thing here is to take note of what the bird is already eating and what things they have been introduced to. Most birds will not have been introduced to pellets or fruits and vegetables at a young age, and this stems from a general lack of knowledge that the birds actually need them to survive. So if you find that your bird has only been eating seeds, it will be important for you to buy a small bag of seeds to start off with. Birds are very, very stubborn when it comes to dietary changes, so if they were eating seeds as a young baby bird and were never shown pellets or fruits and vegetables, it will take a very long time to get them to welcome these foods into their diet. So you will have to go ahead and buy whatever food the bird is already eating so you can gradually introduce these more healthy options. What pellet brands or seed brands you choose is entirely up to you. There are some that are really bad and there are some that are really good. Be sure to do your research and get the full picture of the story. Message companies, talk to your vet, figure out what food is going to be right for your bird. If you want a couple quick brands to look into, I would recommend Rowdy Bush Pellets, Harrison's, Totally Organics Pellets, or Kitech Oven Fresh Bites. Those are a couple of the ones that I like the most and that I have fed my bird in the past. When it comes to seeds, take a look into the brand. Just because it's a bag of seeds doesn't mean they're healthy, doesn't mean that they're fresh. The freshness of a seed is important. If it can't sprout and germinate, that seed is basically expired and there isn't much nutritional value left in it anyways. Brands such as Golden Feast and Dr. Harvey's are very good reputable seed brands. You can also buy seeds from the grocery store and make your own mixes. If you are up to the task, making your own mix can be very beneficial. You can tailor the proteins and fats to your specific bird's needs, and the health and safety standards of human grade foods are significantly higher than that of parrot food. Parrot food bags often have a lot of dust and debris, not only from the seed, but also from the factory residing inside the bag. So it's up to you on what you choose to do, but do take those precautions in mind. On top of that base diet, do be sure that you head to the grocery store and grab a bunch of fresh vegetables and fruits. There are a ton of websites online that will give you lists of bird-safe vegetables to feed them. Your bird will love them, your bird will need them in order to be healthy. Again, if your bird hasn't been introduced to these things already, they will be hesitant to try them. They will pretend that they don't like them because they don't know what they are. It will take time for your bird to decide to try these things, but they will get there. They need it to be healthy, so I encourage you not to give up. The last main thing I would look into getting for your bird would be some sort of play area or stand. The main reason for this is that birds can get very, very territorial, and if all their resources and all of their safety resides in one area, they can get very possessive of it. By having this little play stand that you can place elsewhere in the room, it gives them somewhere else to feel safe, helps them build confidence, and lets them know that there's resources available in multiple areas so they don't have to get super possessive over one particular one. It can save you a lot of problems in the future, so if you can't afford it, I would definitely recommend it. Otherwise, just making sure that they can get food in more than one location and that they have plenty of space to roam will help alleviate potential territorial problems. And that is pretty much it for the absolute bare minimum basics that you need to take good care of your bird. There are a lot of other things you should look into as well, such as a cuddle bone, a UV full spectrum avian light bulb, and bathtubs and humidifiers, as well as an air purifier. There are all sorts of other things you need to consider aside from just the bird's basic habitat, but as far as setting up the basics, this list today is kind of the absolute bare minimum of it. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!